people want to see a rematch. If that is the case, then I will do everything in my power to oblige.
I think Chris won it, to be honest, with the sheer effort that Conor put in. You know, it should have been like a majority, maybe a couple of rounds. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have it so wide. But look, the right man won.
Peter Fury tore into Conor Benn, calling him brave but brutally exposing his flaws. He declared Chris Eubank Jr. the undeniable ruler of the ring, dismissing any notion of a close fight as pure fantasy. According to Fury, Benn's heart counts for nothing when he's being outclassed, outgunned, and outboxed at every turn. He didn't stop there. Fury warned that a rematch could be a career-ending disaster for Benn if he dared.
But I said to Conor, you know, when I said about, maybe you look at 147, and he just looked at me and he said, if you think that fight was a war, wait till you see the rematch. I was like, and I just feel like
dares to step into Eubank's fire again. The truth is, Fury said, Eubank Jr. is simply elite, levels above. Eddie Hearn has now confirmed the rematch, and Conor Benn is seething. The second it was announced, he snapped, vowing not just to fight, but to deliver a savage demolition job. Hearn praised Eubank Jr.'s serene dominance, yet tried to defend Benn's poor showing by blaming it on ring rust. But that excuse doesn't fly anymore. Benn's pride is shattered.
Said next, Eddie was talking about maybe going down in weight. I think that if they want to get it on, they do it again, in 6 months' time, and we will come back again.
And now he's out for blood. But this time, it may not be redemption. It could be ruin. The rematch promises chaos, pain, and the brutal downfall of one man. Meanwhile, Adam Smith delivered his own harsh verdict, branding the rematch a personal war drenched in legacy and pride. He hailed Eubank Jr.'s comeback as more than just impressive. It was a savage warning to the division that he's still elite. Benn, on the other hand, is clinging to the belief that his loss was a fluke, his obsession with revenge boiling over.
I want to see a rematch. If that is the case, then I will do everything in my power to oblige.
But Smith insists this fight is far more than just a second meeting. It's a collision of egos, rage, and unfinished business. When the bell rings, it won't just be a rematch, it'll be a reckoning. Chaos is on the horizon, and only one man will walk out with his pride intact. Chris Eubank Jr. isn't just open to a rematch. He's salivating for it, like a predator stalking wounded prey. After dismantling Conor Benn beneath the deafening roar of the crowd, Eubank now craves an even more violent encore. The first fight was domination. The rematch, he promises, will be pure annihilation. There will be
Eubank, because if I don't do Eubank next, that ship sailed. So it has to be Eubank next. If it's not Eubank, then that's that.
Be no mercy, no restraint, only humiliation, served on a national stage. Eubank Jr. isn't interested in points or prestige. He's coming to destroy. With vengeance in his eyes and blood in the air, he wants to strip Benn of every illusion of greatness. This isn't about boxing anymore. It's about burying hype, breaking spirit, and ending a rivalry with brutal finality. On the other side, Conor Benn is drowning in obsession. Revenge against Eubank Jr. consumes him. He's not just asking for the rematch. He's screaming for it, insisting it's do or die. He knows the truth. If the rematch doesn't happen next, his soul
Conor come back, he'll be a better fighter. We've got a lot to go back. Well, not a lot to go back, just to be able to take his time.
So-called redemption arc dies right then and there. But here's the twist. No amount of fire can erase the brutal beating he already took. Benn talks like he's preparing for war, but the reality is that Eubank already broke him, physically, mentally, and publicly. A second clash won't be a comeback for Benn. It'll be an execution. Eubank Jr. is ready to beat him again and bury him for good. No more questions, no more hype, just a decisive, brutal end to their war. Enter Nigel Ben, furious, defiant, and unwilling to accept what happened. After watching his son collapse under Eubank's dominance, Nigel erupted. branding the result
Happy. Well, I already knew what he could do, so I wasn't impressed, wasn't about it. But I knew what he could do, and I'm happy he done it. He was listening, and he did exactly what I thought he'd do, and I'm happy about
a disgrace. He refused to acknowledge Eubank's victory. In his eyes, Eubank Jr. is nothing but a lucky vulture who pounced on an inactive, cold Conor. But this isn't just bitterness, it's vengeance. Nigel is demanding an immediate rematch, swearing that a sharp, raging Conor will dismantle Eubank piece by piece. He even accused the first fight of being a setup, nothing more than a trap designed to humiliate his son. Now he sends a chilling warning. The real fight hasn't even started, and when it does, Eubank Jr. may not escape the fury of a fully awakened Conor Benn. Meanwhile, Jonathan Banks gave full credit where it was due, calling Eubank Jr.'s performance a tactical masterclass. Patience, sharp ring IQ, flawless.
Still a baby in the sport. We've still got learning to do, and I think fighting Eubank Jr., who would most be entering the ring bigger than he would last time, I just can't see it.
This discipline, Eubank didn't just win. He made a statement. The keys to dismantling Conor Benn were never about early fireworks. Eubank Jr. had a different plan. While the crowd expected an explosive start, Eubank chose surgical precision. He dismantled Benn piece by piece. Benn's wild swings only exposed his desperation, while Eubank remained calm, calculated, and utterly dangerous. Jonathan Banks, Eubank's trainer, shut down critics who questioned Eubank's ability to handle the pressure.
Conor Benn is not a concussive puncher since he's been at 154. He's up against a big middleweight, right? That's number one. Conor Benn was too desperate trying to knock out a guy. He was loading up too much, but he fought his heart out, and all the credit in the world should be given to Conor Benn. Chris Eubank Jr., all the credit in the world should be given to him, because we was looking at this like, oh, well, can he do the weight? What's going to happen now? He's going to get knocked out, all the rest of it. And I mean, I had a real strong feeling that this was going to...
Brutal weight cut and Benn's supposed punching power. Eubank didn't just survive, he dominated. His clinical approach silenced every doubter in the room. Now, the question for the rest of the division is simple. After witnessing that surgical destruction, who really has the guts to step into the ring with Chris Eubank Jr. next? Joe Gallagher didn't mince words in his brutal assessment of Conor Benn's chances. He made it clear, Benn is nowhere near ready to face a fighter of Eubank's caliber. Calling Benn a baby in the sport, Gallagher pointed to the vast experience gap. Eubank is seasoned, polished, and elite.
Cut to the eye. Obviously, they gave so much in that fight, and maybe not for the purists because it was a street fight, but to the mainstream audience, it was a fight that crossed over.
Benn is still finding his footing. Gallagher warned that a rematch would be even more dangerous. Eubank, now brimming with confidence, would only come back stronger. The gap isn't closing, it's growing. Spencer Fearon echoed that sentiment in a scathing analysis, dismantling the media's narrative surrounding the fight. He made it clear, Benn isn't a knockout puncher, especially not at 154 pounds. Facing a fully fledged middleweight like Eubank was always a tall order. Fearon blasted Benn for loading up on wild, desperate shots, hoping for a miracle knockout that never came. Still, he gave credit to Benn's heart, but emphasized that Eubank's grit, experience, and poise set him apart. The weight cut questions? Answered. Eubank didn't look drained. He looked...
Conor Benn can fight anybody from 147 to 154 to 160. Conor Benn can fight who he wants. Both of them can almost handpick who they want to fight next.
Looked dominant. Gareth A. Davies pulled no punches in painting the raw truth. This wasn't just a fight. It was a war that separated a true warrior from a reckless brawler. Eubank Jr., even after suffering a gruesome eye cut, stood tall like a machine. No flinching, no backing down. He embraced the chaos and thrived in it. Meanwhile, Benn looked lost. His wild flailing lacked any real strategy. He was exposed, overwhelmed by the pressure and outclassed by experience. This wasn't a chess match. It was a battlefield. and Chris Eubank Jr. walked away as the ruthless general, while Conor Benn left as a battered soldier still searching for a plan. That ring wasn't just a stage, it was a battlefield, and Chris Eubank Jr. owned every bloody second of it. Gareth A. Davies made it clear. Eubank didn't just win.
That fight really showed us last night that a good big un beats a good little un. They're good, they're not great. So Eubank wins the fight. Where he goes from here in terms of world level, I don't know, because I don't want to pour cold water on the fight.
He endured, imposed, and conquered. Spencer Oliver echoed the sentiment, praising Eubank's unshakable composure and elite mental toughness. When the lights were brightest and the stakes highest, it was Eubank who delivered war, and Conor Benn who got burned alive under the pressure. Sam Jones tore into Conor Benn's delusions with brutal honesty, demolishing his bold claim that he's ready to face anyone from 147 to 160 pounds. According to Jones, Benn is still paddling in shallow waters, miles away from the sharks of the elite level. His pattern of hand-picking soft touches only proves he's been masking flaws, not fixing them. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. is cut from a different cloth, battle-tested, mentally unbreakable, and always ready for war. Jones made it clear, Benn can scream about weight classes all he wants, but after getting schooled by Eubank, his credibility is dead on arrival. The difference between them isn't size, it's class. Eubank is already etched into boxing history. Benn, he's still chasing headlines. When pressure hits, Eubank thrives. Benn cracks. That's why, no matter what division he talks about, he'll never truly belong at the elite table. Duke McKenzie ripped the hype apart with a ruthless breakdown of Benn's defeat, declaring Eubank to be on another planet. He didn't sugarcoat it. Eubank's raw power, surgical accuracy, and fearless aggression overwhelmed Benn, exposing every weakness. McKenzie warned, a rematch isn't just a bad idea, it's madness. Eubank's physicality, ring IQ, and relentless pressure are a nightmare Benn simply can't solve. McKenzie believes a second clash wouldn't just mirror the first, it could be even worse. The levels were obvious from the opening bell, and nothing has changed. This isn't about redemption anymore. It's about survival. And McKenzie doubts Benn survives another Eubank storm. The only question that remains, will Benn rise from the ashes, or has this rivalry already been buried? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you're loving these intense boxing breakdowns, like and subscribe for more brutal fight analysis.